Okay, so it's moving backwards and forwards. It clearly needs a lot of work still to change gear properly, and the fact that I've got it in. What I wanted to do was get to a position where I could move it out of the garage, turn it around, bring it back in, so that I can deal with the other side as well, because I don't have really enough room to work on both sides at the same time. And it can do that now. And that gives me time to actually do more reading about the clutch and the slave cylinder, and find out a bit more about what might need doing. So I'm going to finish this episode here. It's a short one, and we're now finally going to move on to the driver's side rear fender and start looking at cutting that out. So that's the next episode. Okay, so we're going to start looking at this rear wing now. So we've already seen just how rusty it is around here. And what needs to come off. But we do have metal from, there we go, you can see roughly where. So we've got metal from about there, but not below. Okay, so about here is, yeah, about there, not here. Okay, so we've got metal roughly around here, and I think possibly the same on the other side. No, we've got more here, but you can see we've also got quite a bit of rust under there. But you know, underneath here it doesn't feel too bad. And what we do have is over here we have got a full panel to replace. Now what I haven't decided yet is if I want to actually put on the full panel, because that means cutting around here, and that seems like a lot to me. Or if I want to actually cut parts off that panel and just replace the bits. Unfortunately, you know, you can't just buy this bit any longer. You can buy this quarter panel still, but you can't buy this one. So you have to get the whole lot. So we're going to start by getting the stag out of the way and taking a wire wheel to this and trying to clear it up so we can see just how bad it is. And we'll then have a look at, for example, you know, how does this all, this is presumably on with spot welds or something, you know, so where's it spot welded, where would it need to come out, and all of that sort of stuff. So that's our first step on replacing this panel. Exciting to have got here though, now that, you know, we've seen the car actually move. Okay, I've been doing some grinding, and we've got two places really. It's a lot better than I thought, to be honest, first time ever. Maybe that's just because I've got used to it. So here you can see that we've got metal. We've still got a few holes here, but that's about it. So there's just, all of that needs to come out. The thing is, we've got a huge amount falling out from inside, and when I stick my hand in here, from about there, so about here in fact, it feels like there's another piece of metal. So I'm wondering if they've just welded one on top of the other and we've got a rusty one underneath. I might be able to live with that, to be honest. And then on the back here, okay, we can see where the filler stops, and so the filler is shaping it. But basically, it's only a little bit down here that needs to go. A lot of filler on it to give it the shape, and I will have to put filler on as well to make sure it's smooth, but That's not too bad. And then when we get right to the back, I'm just going to grab a screwdriver. Where you've got the little bump that comes out, which I assume has been put onto this car because I think this is a chrome bumper feature and the rubber bumpers didn't have it. So the chrome bumper I think is meant to come out around there, and the rubber bumpers don't have it. But you can see there's a bit of rust here, but it's surface rust, and a bit of rust at the top. But again, it's surface, so it was well filled in with filler to give it its shape. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to apply some rust protector to this stuff, and actually might need a bit of a it needs a bit of a tidy up underneath here. I hadn't checked that before. So we will look at that. Did I get that in camera? I did. So we'll look at that and we'll tidy that up, I think. And then we'll look at the front. And what I'll do is, rather than doing my small patches, I will try to create a larger one that covers that sort of area. I won't cut out until I've made the patch. And I will use this large piece here as my template for it. Okay, I won't cut from this large piece, I'll just use this as my template. And then if that all works, then I've just got the back bit to do, and at that point I can decide whether to again use that back bit as a template or to cut it out. And I'm not sure which one I'll do, but I could end up with this piece just left and in good condition, which isn't a bad thing. So what we're going to do is let's see. So that bit underneath would need doing no matter what, and this needs painting off no matter what. So I think, no, I think we'll paint it to get it out of the way so it doesn't get any worse. We'll definitely do that, and then I think we're going to look for at the front here, trying to create a patch for that. That's the way we're going to approach this. So this is step one, and we can see here we've got a template that fits in like that, and when we put it up against the car, sorry about this, a bit hard to do one-handed. So our cardboard template fits on like that. Okay, so what we're going to try now is, so you can see we're coming quite a long way up here, but I'd rather stick to straight lines if I can, so we'll come along here and down. So next step, and actually what am I doing underneath? I'm not coming into the flange down below. I'm just coming straight across the bottom here, so I'm going to have to cut along that edge there. Alright, so that's the plan initially. So I'm now going to convert this cardboard template into a piece of metal. So we'll be back in a bit. Okay, so this is my template in metal, and then I've drawn on here where the flange is, and I need that to bend away from me as it is currently, I think. Yeah, so it would go in here. See, it's for here. Okay, so it needs to bend away from the line. not over it. And then here I need it quite sharp. And then here just a little bit of a bend. And then I need to put a curve into the metal as well. So we're going to start with a bit of bend, and then we'll come back and try the next bit. What did I say, hey? I said it needed to bend away from the black line, not towards it. Look at what I've gone and done. Exactly the wrong way round. But about the right amount, so that's a good bit. There we go. So it fits in just the wrong way. So back to do it the other way now. Okay, so we have a patch which I put it up against my actual piece. Doesn't fit too badly. Fits well at this side. And it curves around okay, but it's beginning to. I haven't quite got the curve in the metal here, and I don't know how to. So, you know, I could always force it when I weld it, but I'd like to try to get a bit more in there first. So I'm going to go inside and have a look at the internet to see if I can find anything. But as you can see, look, it's again a reasonable fit. You know, that's where I was after. So that's not bad the whole way along. So it's got a slight curve here, but it's a bit straighter here, and that's the problem, is how do I get a curve in at this end? Because obviously this metal here is trying to stop it, and the only way might be that I have to actually put a slight cut. If I could put a cut in the flange, then that's probably the solution, but I'm going to go have a look first. So yeah, I'm actually really pleased with that. Okay, clean it off for the spot rust on there, surface rust, but as a first go at fabricating a bit of panel, I think that's pretty good. And I haven't tried it up against here yet, but if I put it up against there, okay, so yeah, it definitely needs more curve. As you can see here, it's definitely not curving enough at the moment. So, oh, hang on, there we go, that's in a bit better, but it's not curving enough on this left hand side. But everything else is pretty good, so I'm really pleased so far. I'll go and have a little read about how to fabricate a bit more, little look, and come back from there. So far I'm really happy with this. This is my piece. It goes in here, and there we go, you can see that seems to be a pretty good fit all around, really. I've got a little bit of a gap here which I hadn't realised I had before. So I might need to just trim it a little bit there, I think, rather than anything else. That's you know, in terms of the curve, I do have to put a little pressure on to get it up here, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And I do have a little gap here, so which maybe I shouldn't be satisfied with. So I've got one at this end and one at the other. Okay, so we're going to do it a little bit more, but it's not too bad. Yep, so I think I'm going to go with this as is. I did a bit more beating, but there we go. You see, we're so bit of a push and it goes in, but it's not taking much. And what we'll just do, so we're going to mark around, cut, and we'll cut on the inside, and then we can take a bit more off as and when we need to in order to get a good fit. So that's what we're going to do. We'll get some zinc prime. We'll give this a quick get rid of this rust, and then put some zinc primer on it, and we'll go from there. So this is I've just cut it off, or I'm cutting it off, and you can see how much rust came out from inside. It's all just rotten there on the floor, and I think it looks to me that, I mean, unless it's meant to be double skinned or something, I don't know, but it looks to me like it's just they've welded a rusty piece over a rusty piece. Sorry, they've welded something over the rusty metal. Not that I can actually, there's lots of grease on there as well, or something. So this, it's got some rust there at the back. Okay. Which I need to work out what that is. So I think this is the strength of your unit. Part of it is partly done for, and so some of this might need replacing. But I think maybe trying to get here, you know, maybe I'm best off just cutting this out and leaving it without that, which seems to me to just be rust, or in fact just painting it with the rust converter, and going from there. Still, anyway, so I need to cut along here still, so that's where my join will be, and then this bit, and I haven't, this is the first time I'm offering it up, so I think I'm going to have to do some more cutting, but this bit will then go on, so that's going to need a little bit of a trim to make it fit properly, but actually that's not too bad. So yeah, so I've got more rust all the way in there, so yeah. But not bad. Yeah, so they've just put metal over the top though, haven't they? Which is why it's just rusted through there. So yeah, and that isn't metal, that's just seam sealer in fact along the back. I've got to get under and see what this is, because that's, no, I mean I've just got a great big hole there now, so it might be that I need to cut out something along here as well at the back. Okay, well, we'll go and have a look. They tell you to measure twice and cut once, so I did, but when I measured I clearly had it against the other one like this, and as you can see down at the bottom it comes along, and what it should have been is like this, so that at the bottom I have that ridge the whole way along. So I'm going to have to cut again, at least I'm cutting more out. The problem will be I'm going to have a slight gap on this right hand side, a bit more than I would want. Now it will come in a little bit because of the thickness of the material, but I'm not sure if it will come in enough. So what I've decided to do though is I'm going to weld this piece in place, and then I'm going to move around and look at the back. It looks like I'll have to put something in along the back here, but I think that might be it, so I don't think that will be too bad. And as you can see I've painted that, so I'm going to leave it there just painted. Okay, so the patch is ready, and I know it looks like there's gaps there at the moment. That's because these magnets aren't that great. I will tack it into place in a few places, and then go along and weld it. Pretty pleased with that. So I need to just grind down the edges there, so I've got metal on both sides. This is all zinc primer, so it should be good to weld through that. What have we got on the inside there? So I'm going to put some bus converter on here. And before I do it, I've put it on elsewhere. And I'm going to leave this here because this here, there is some blue paint under it. So this must have been on there, which means this must. So I'm not really sure what this is, to be honest. Because it's not the strengthener piece that runs along. It just seems to be a sill of some kind. And then this piece here, where my finger is, can we see that? That is a strengthener piece, and then this is the inner sill. So, yeah, okay. So we're going to get some rust converter on here so that it's just a bit cleaner. Weld on there, weld around, and then deal with the inside. And what we're going to do on the inside is we're going to cut out this bit here. See how far back we need to go in terms of cutting it out, and put a new piece in. We might even try to do the strengthener as well, but we'll go underneath the car and do it from the inside, which won't be easy, but that's what we'll have a go at. Okay, so I'm not going to touch this because I've just finished welding and grinding, but there's the patch in place. So it buckled a little bit over here on the right hand side, the metal did, so from the heat. And I've struggled, I don't know why, but I really struggle with that weld down at the bottom there, so it's not looking pretty. I haven't ground it down because I'm worried that as soon as I do, I'll end up with holes. But I'm going to put a skim of fiberglass filler in, so that, especially around the edges, so that if I've got any pinpricks, that should sort them out. And then filler to give it its shape. And actually, you know, that's not too bad. You know, it's not perfect, but actually, as my first big panel, biggish, I'm quite pleased with that, to be honest. We'll have a look once I've done the filler and stuff, and see what it looks like. But you know, it's metal as opposed to just rust behind it. Got to do the other side still, obviously. But yeah, not bad. Well, I think perhaps when I'm doing welding around the tyres, I should actually take the tyres off and get them out of the way. What a plonker. Oh well. At least I have another one over here. So I've got the spare one, I'll just have to get this one fixed. Let's be honest, I really need to get them all done at some point, so we'll worry about that a bit later. Just need to know to take them off before I start working on the others, because I don't really want to have too flat and then not be able to turn it around. Okay, so we've put fiberglass filler underneath. We're now going to try to get a bit better shape. So we put just regular filler there. I'm quite pleased with how it's come out, so we're going to do the back. And then we're going to move over to this side. And actually I'm going to try, rather than cutting a piece from the panel I have, I think I'm going to try just using that as a template again and seeing if I cannot, you know, build a panel from a bit of metal. Be harder on this side because I don't actually have enough here to hold it up there, so it's all going to have to be based off the template. But I think we should be okay. So that's the plan. And what is that? Is that panel that comes out, or is that metal? I'm not sure if that's a plastic panel or a metal one in here. It's almost certainly metal. Yeah, it's metal with seam seal around it. That's okay. Okay, so there's a big gap there. So we're going to start on this side, and let's see if we can get under. So we're going to start here, and really it's just this piece here that needs replacing along here, so that should be quite a simple-ish fix, I think. Yeah, I don't think that should be too bad at all. So that's the next step. So I've taken the rear hub off, the brake for the drum brake, the brake drum, whatever. Anyway, and I can see this now, and I don't know, look at that, how rusted that is. So I'm going to have to look at what bits I need to replace as a matter of urgency here, because that clearly is going to have to go, and hopefully that explains why it seems to sit lower on that side. In the meantime, I've taken that, I've wire brushed it to get rid of as much as I can in terms of rust and stuff. Then I put hammerite over it, so the hammerite black, satin or whatever it is, which you can apply direct to rust, so cleaned off as much as I could. I don't have any. If I had silver paint I would use that, but I only have the black, so I think the silver would look better through the wheels, but we're going to stick with black for now. Robin has come into the garage and joined me. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not. There it goes. There we go. Gone back out. Okay, so it's fairly dusty in here still, and it's time to clear up for the night, but we can see this has now been sanded down. It's pretty smooth. Maybe I'll try to get a quick undercoat on it. High build primer to protect it. I think that probably makes sense. But clear up so I can get the stag back in. And we've also gone underneath and done under here as well. So actually this is all, and that does need painting under here as well. So I think maybe we'll get that done. And then we're ready to move to the back. So yeah, and maybe I need to look at the other side to see if the other side's as bad as this, and order both sides. Yeah, well, we'll see.